So we're working on this. We recently developed a technical vocational program in renewable energy with 8 courses, 2 in geothermal, 2 in wind, 2 in solar, and 2 in biomass. It's in our schools. There's never more interest on the part of students and to take that program studies and for teachers to teach it. We're doing a whole bunch of other things, including make sure every school is a LEED Silver school. Now to the fourth part and then quickly to the conclusion. So the fourth part is, well, what about all those other things that are important, but which I have identified as being the most important? And what I'm thinking about are things, the soft skills, what people refer to sometimes as the soft skills: critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, entrepreneurship, and imagination. How should we think about these things? Well, they're really important. But these are not things, to me, these are more about how we teach than what we teach. And so they're more about pedagogy than about curriculum. And they're more about the way in which kids are taught and the way in which they learn than about what they know when they come out. I mean, they do know about these things in some sense because they've learned these things through this process, through this teaching and learning process. And so they're important, and students need to know these things. But I think that those things come with doing what I talked about earlier, and the 6 things that I had talked about earlier. And it's about kids knowing through their school, through their time in school, knowing and being able to do those 6 things, and being taught and learning how to do those 6 things in a particular kind of way that leads to them being critical thinkers, being able to solve problems, being able to work in teams, having the capacity to be entrepreneurs or act in an entrepreneurship way, and to come out of school with being able to imagine something more than what exists in the present. So I think these are really important things. One of the things that we're doing in Manitoba is to support this is encouraging teachers to change their pedagogy and to teach in ways that models what I'm talking about. So I want to conclude by saying just a few things about what we're doing in Manitoba in the Department of Education. And the first thing is about what our goals are for the future. And our goal, or no, actually that's the second thing. The first thing is about what did we do in Manitoba that has made it so that we are in a situation now where we're seen by some people, and I guess we are in some respects, a leader in this area. The first thing we did was that we made ESD, Education for Sustainable Development, a public and political priority. We put this into our vision statement. It was put on our web. It was endorsed by the minister, and that was a game changer. That was a game changer. It was a huge message to the education community about what we were about, what we thought they should be about, and it just unleashed a lot of energy. And people felt they had permission to do a whole bunch of stuff they were already doing and be very much more open about it. And it also gave people permission to do a whole bunch of stuff they weren't doing, which they felt needed to be done. So that was a game changer, where the Minister of Education said, this is a priority in the Department of Education. The second thing was, so that's about leadership. The second thing that we did was we hired 2 full-time staff to work on this. We didn't give it to people who already had full job, already had full-time jobs and whose days were full and they were busy all day and said, do this off the side of your desk. We hired 2 people and said, this is your full-time work. And Carol Lee was one of them, and then Anne McDermott back in Manitoba is another one. And that was hugely important because that's how the work gets done, and that's also a big message is that if we said this and we mean it. And people saw that. We said it and we mean it, and you can see we mean it because we're doing all this work and we're trying to support, this is the teachers in schools, and we're trying to support you, and that has had a tremendous impact. And the third thing is we've been very connected internationally to what's going on, and David talked about the committee that I chair. I talked about Carol Lee being in Paris for a year at the UNESCO headquarters, and she's actually now from Manitoba writing the end of decade report for the UNECE steering committee. And so we've been very connected internationally, and that's been really important because, for two reasons. We've learned a lot, and we just feel that support. We feel that we feel we have this support of others for what we've been doing. What are our plans for the future? We have 3 goals, 3 priority areas, and they're the same as UNECE, not by accident actually. First of all, we want an ESD plan in every school. We said by the end of 2015, we said that in Japan, but actually it'll probably be more like the end of 2016, but we're well on our way to reach that goal, and that's going to be a big deal. An education sustainable development plan in every school in Manitoba. The second thing is, and we have a lot of work to do here, and that is to get ESD embedded in teacher education and training. We've done a lot of in-servicing. We've done a lot with teachers who are already in our schools, those who are already teachers. We need to be doing a lot more with those who are now training to be teachers. And the last thing is, we are encouraging, and we're encouraging this in various ways, schools and school divisions to offer technical vocational education that will lead to the skills that one would think students will need in a sustainable and green economy. And so we're encouraging them to do that in various ways. The main way is through the funding that we provide to them for technical vocational education. But I'm going to finish here. Where do we want to end up? What's the end game here? If you could wrap it all up, what is it about? Well, for me, you know, it is about, because it's in large part, it is about moving from a brown economy to a green economy, obviously. But really what it's about citizenship. It's about citizenship in the 21st century. It's about equipping students with what they need to know and skilling them with what they need to be able to do to be citizens in the rest of the 21st century. And unless they know the importance of living sustainably, and unless they can do what needs to be done in order to live that way, I don't think, unless we're trying to do that, we're not, in my view, we're not doing our jobs. Okay? We're just simply not doing our jobs. And when people say to me, you know, or I say to them, educator, well, let's put it this way, they say to me, you know, what's education all about? I'll say it's a multidimensional thing, and if I could wrap it up into a phrase, it's about citizenship, and that's what this is about. It's about what is it going to mean to be a citizen in the future? How should one think of oneself? How should one think of others? And how should one relate to others and be part of some a community? And ESD, obviously, or learning to live or living sustainably, obviously is going to be a big part of citizenship in the future. Last thing, you know, and I'm going to share this with you because we spent some time together. People talk about, you know, transforming things and being transformative or being a change agent and all of that, and I'm okay with all of that. I'm good with that. But you know, and I say this because I have put a lot of effort into this, and so I you know, so but I'm going to share this with you. But I hardly ever think of what I do in those terms. Hardly ever. You know, you know, it's not, you know, everybody can decide for themselves what motivates them. For me, it's just doing what needs to be done. You know, it's just, you know, doing what needs to be done. And when I look back at my time as being deputy minister, I want to look back and be able to say, I tried as hard as I could to do what I thought needed to be done. I'm not, you know, I'll let others decide whether it was the right thing, wrong thing, done well, not done well, and all the rest of it. But for me, it's, you know, I'm not a change agent, or I don't think of myself as a change agent, or that kind of thing, or transforming the world, or saving the world, or anything like that. But I think what motivates me, what drives me, and I'm almost at the end of it. Thank not only the speech, but the bigger thing is just do what needs to be done, and have the resolve to do that, and do it in spite of opposition, in spite of, you know, the days of despair, and the days when you don't feel optimistic or hopeful. No, that's not every day, thank goodness, but there are days like that. If you get up in the morning and you go to work, because you're going to work and you have a duty and an obligation, you do what you think should be done. And I don't know if that matters to anybody in the room or not, but I just thought I'd end on that note. And so, merci, Big Rich, and thank you very much for listening to me.